Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. Now, of course, we got to talk about a few things today. I've been gone since Tuesday. I'm back. It's Thursday, TBT, Throwback Thursday. It's Christmas. Be happy, sports fans, okay? There's coaches being fired left and right. College towns all around are being burnt to the ground. These wildfires are worse than Gatlinburg, and so sorry that's happening in Gatlinburg. Really hope they figure out who's doing that. But I will say this, Oregon's coach, Mark Helfrich, he was fired from the Mighty Ducks. Emilio Estevez is no longer a part of this organization. Yes, I said it, Mark Helfrich is their Emilio Estevez, and he couldn't cut it. Oregon, they lost their mojo when Chip Kelly left. This year, they're 4-8 on the season. That's not Oregon football. If you ask me, they're losing a little bit of their mystique. Oregon, they're so used to winning there. They don't know how long it's been since they haven't won. You go all the way back to the Joey Harringtons, to the Darren Thomases of the world. Still don't know why he left to go to the draft early, but Oregon has a history of winning in the last 15 to 20 years. So the fact that Mark Helfrich could not uphold that standard at Oregon, I understand why they let him go. You got to understand, at a program like Oregon, it's out there in Oregon, they've got all the gear. When you have Phil Knight, the owner of Nike, who is from that school and giving you all that nice gear, you got to win games. He's not going to waste money on a bum program, especially his alma mater. Also, shout out to Coach O in Baton Rouge. I forgot about him the other day. He got that job at LSU. He deserves it. He deserves it. Why? Because he's a guy that the players obviously like. They want a coach who cares about him. He seems like that type of guy. Hopefully he's learned from the mistakes that he made when he was the head coach at Ole Miss, when Brent Schaefer was the quarterback. We'll see what happens with Coach O, but congrats to him. Sorry for Mark Helfrich. Now, also, playoffs. Now, I look at this top four, and started off the other night on Tuesday when they let these out. You see Alabama's at number one, of course. They could have played everybody this entire season with one hand tied behind their back and still blew them out. Alabama is a no contest for most teams in the country, in my opinion, right now. They've looked unstoppable. This freshman, Jalen Hurts, has really done a great job in Lane Kiffin's offense. And Jonathan Allen on the defensive end, and just what that defense has done as a whole, they have dominated this entire season. But I think it will hurt them down the road by not having Eddie Jackson. So I don't know if he'll be ready by January to come back. I think he broke his ankle. Not totally sure that, but I'm pretty sure he hurt his leg, lower extremity. So if Eddie Jackson can't come back, I don't know where Alabama will be in the secondary, especially on special teams. Eddie Jackson and Minkah Fitzpatrick as well, they both bring a lot to the special teams area. So we'll have to see. Ohio State, they're number two. And at that particular spot, they're locked up. They won't let them out. No. Urban Meyer earned that spot. So I think Ohio State, they're right in the driver's seat. Even though they lost the head-to-head to Penn State, the committee for some reason really likes this team. I think they like Urban Meyer's pedigree. He's competitive in national championship games, and it's about ratings. They got to have people to sit down and watch the game. They don't want another 38-0 blowout like Michigan State got done last year. So they got to get that situated, and I think Ohio State's good to go. Clemson, they're number three. Virginia Tech, that's a tricky turkey after Thanksgiving, Mr. Deshaun Watson. Be careful in the ACC Championship, Clemson. Washington's number four. Don't kick your shoes off and fall back on the beanbag yet, guys. Jake Browning, you still got to beat Colorado on Friday night. That's tomorrow in the Pac-12 Championship at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Can you do it? Like Gary Gaines said in Friday Night Lights. Can you be perfect? Can you do it? So I like Washington in this spot, but they've got to continue to win. I think they got to win handily against Colorado because their schedule, 128th in the nation, very weak. Number 5, Michigan. Harbaugh, he cost himself a new set of Jordan khakis. They did not call great plays down in the red zone against Ohio State, and that may end up costing them a spot in the playoff. Yeah, they beat Penn State. I don't think Penn State can jump Michigan because Penn State got busted by Michigan. But I don't think Michigan can do enough at this point with no more games left to jump into that top 4 spot. So Michigan looks like they're done. They will be in a New Year's Day Bowl, though. Maybe Cotton Bowl, something like that. Also, number 6, Wisconsin. these guys, they must not remember the head-to-head. You lost to Michigan. You lost to Ohio State. Who cares? They were close games. You lost. The Gatorade commercial. A win's a win. A loss is a loss. You better come with it. So, Wisconsin, done in my opinion. Penn State, everybody wants to party. Everybody wants to party. But you can't, Penn State. And that's because Penn State, you're not that playoff crop of team. I don't care if you win the Big Ten championship game. I honestly think Wisconsin will win this, and Ohio State's hoping Wisconsin wins it. But I don't think Penn State, even if they win, will get in the playoff. And I honestly mean that because they don't have that star power. Yeah, they got Saquon Barkley, McSorley at quarterback, but I just don't think Penn State will get that fortune from the playoff committee to actually get into that championship game. Also, number 8, Colorado. The Washington win, that won't help because they lost to Michigan pretty bad in Ann Arbor. They were ahead in the first half, ended up losing 44-28 or something like that. I don't think that Colorado can jump Michigan, even if they beat Washington because of that head-to-head. So I think all of this has really shook itself out. Oklahoma State at number 9 and 10. Too many losses. 2 losses to Houston and Ohio State, and they got plastered by Ohio State at home. So what would happen at a neutral site? I would not want to see that at all. And Oklahoma State, Bedlam, it's more like a locker room fight right now. Nobody's going to know about it. Because why? They lost to Central Michigan, who didn't even win the MAC conference. They're not even in the MAC championship game. That's Western Michigan and Ohio. So Oklahoma State, they are done it all, done. So we move right along. Hoops, baby. Doc Rivers the other night, he was ejected and thrown out like hot garbage. Now, he got really upset. Losing to the Nets in OT, of course. I would get upset, too. He got upset with referee Ken Mauer. Now, Doc Rivers, you got to understand, he's a master motivator. This is the guy who coached Anything's Possible, KG, Paul Pierce, as well as Ray Allen. So he's a mastermind of emotion. Maybe he did this to kind of rile his team up. They're 14-5. They've lost a little bit of that hot steam. They're still a good team. But, it's early in the year. Doc Rivers doesn't care about getting ejected. It's his job. NBA, what do you miss a game? You don't even miss a game, I don't think. So he doesn't care about that. But he got hot. Russell Westbrook got his 4th straight triple-double last night. Now, the record on the season is 41 in a season. Oscar Robertson, he was averaging a triple-double in December. He's the only other one to do that, Oscar Robertson. So when you're up there with Big O, shout out to Cincinnati, you definitely are making headway as far as being the NBA MVP because of the type of season he's having. 30 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. Russ is doing it all. Now, how long can he roll this thunder? I don't know. But I will tell you this, Russell Westbrook's in the prime of his career. He's in supreme physical fitness, physical shape. So I think Russ can do it. He's got juice. And he throws it down like no other. Boom shakalaka. NBA Jam style. Also, the Cavs, they lost to the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks. And goodness, J.R. Smith, why do you always got to be doing something extra, man? Goes off onto the sideline, hugs Jason Terry during a play. His man scores. Put the champagne down, JR. I understand you guys won it last year, but relax. You got a lot more to do, man. It's a new season. Let it go. Let it go. We need to get you that app on your phone. Let it go. Get rid of that championship memory. Sheesh. Don't you want to win one back to back? Come on, J.R. Smith. Tyronn Lue, he caught an embarrassing moment and said they're moving forward, but I'm sure he said more in that private meeting and said, JR, you look like a fool. Play some basketball. But, they're champions, so you'll let that go early on. But JR, come on, man. Get focused. Also, in Dickie V's world, Indiana just beat number 3 UNC 76-67 last night. Now, I really like this win for them because they had to bounce back after that terrible, ugly loss to IPFW. That was inexcusable. IPFW, congrats to them getting that early ticket cashed in to go to the NCAA tournament with a win like that. Indiana's beating UNC and Kansas already. These guys are real deal. So, the fact that Tom Crean gets to click his heels right away from the Tar Heels, Mr. Roy Williams, is superb for them. They've got no Yogi Ferrell this year. However, I think it's good for them. They have 5 guys in double figures, all starters. Yogi Ferrell at times I think came down and jacked up way too many threes and messed up the flow of that offense, and I felt like he had to do that because James Blackman got hurt last year. James Blackman Jr., excuse me. So I really like Indiana. They're developing as a team. Also, Michigan State lost to the Dukies already 4 games this year. You guys have lost. I didn't know Coach Izzo was 1-10 against Coach K. Not very great. I really think they should focus on better scheduling next year. These guys have traveled all over. They've been to Hawaii. They've been back to the mainland in LA. They've been in the Bahamas. They've been all over. So Michigan State, that travel's really wearing and tearing on them. But Duke, they look good. Grayson Allen, he's healthy, kind of hurt, needs to be healthy. 24 points on the night. Great, great, great for Grayson Allen. Now, Major League Baseball. I will say the Major League Players Union, they did a great job. Great justice for the players. They worked out a new 5-year labor deal for the union. This is the biggest change of them all. What they did was Bud Selig created a rule a few years ago that said that the winner of the All-Star game gets home field advantage in the playoffs for the World Series. And I don't think that was fair because if you got the best record, you should have that. Cubbies should have had this year. That was not fair. They made a change to that, though. You have to have the best record to get that. So great change. Good for Major League Baseball. And our NFL wrap-up, Jeff Fisher bans Eric Dickerson because Eric Dickerson's been flapping his yap about the Los Angeles Rams. And he says, hey, Eric Dickerson, yeah, we know you're a legend, but our players aren't comfortable with all the stuff that you're saying. But Eric Dickerson, didn't he earn the right to say that type of stuff? I mean, the man is the 7th leading rusher all time in the NFL. Get real, Jeff Fisher. He can say what he wants. So hopefully they figure that out in LA. I mean, they letting Snoop Dogg on the sidelines. Let Eric Dickerson on the sidelines. Also, tonight, Cowboys versus Vikings. Mike Zimmer, he may not coach. Emergency eye surgery. Got a cut on his eye. Who gets MVP tonight? Who's going to push forward for that? I think Dak, Zeke, or the O-line, somebody's going to win MVP. One of those 3 entities. Can they build the resume more tonight against the sorry Vikings? Because the Vikings, I think they've lost 4 out of the last 5, not having a great year towards down the end of the stretch. Although Adrian Peterson's supposed to come back next week, we shall see. Now, big weekend for everybody. Check stuff out. I'll be back Tuesday. I really appreciate y'all watching the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zoe knows.